Baseball has been America's favorite pastime since forever. The game has churned out some of the most incredible athletes in history, and the mill is still going strong, from Babe Ruth to Mike Trout. These are some of the best Major League Baseball players to grace planet Earth. In this video, we'll talk about ranking some of the best players in Major League Baseball based on the length of their careers and eye-watering stats. Let's start with Rickey Henderson. It wouldn't be wrong to say that Rickey Henderson is one of the few athletes who has made the ultimate use of his sheer strength and speed. Born in 1958, the left fielder's career spans over 25 seasons, but he primarily played for the Oakland Athletics. The thing about Henderson is that he was too serious when it came to playing. To him, if his uniform isn't dirty, he hasn't done anything in baseball. The talented champ broke Ty Cobb's 65-year-old American League stolen base record of 96 with 100 swipes. After that, he kept on making more records, including stealing 130 bases in 1982 that broke Hall of Famer Lou Brock's single-season record of 118. Undoubtedly, Rickey was one of the greatest leadoff hitters in MLB, which also earned him the nickname Man of Steel. His speed was unmatched, his hitting power was impeccable, and he was known as one of the greatest base runners in baseball history. Henderson finished his outstanding career with 1,406 stolen bases and an exclusive place in the Hall of Fame. Rickey fished in All-Star 10 times, the AL MVP award, and all-time records for unintentional walks and runs scored. Next on the list is Willie Mays. Known as baseball's most well-rounded player, Mays was a force to be reckoned with on the field, and it was an experience watching him play. There was no such thing as a bad season for Willie, and his technique with defense and power turned him into the greatest center fielder in MLB history. It's hard to imagine the guy won All-Star for 24 consecutive seasons. Who does that? And that's not all. Mays led in the stolen base on 3 occasions, receiving All-Star MVP twice, won a World Series, and even bagged an NL MVP. Before being inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame, Willie delivered a .302 average, earned 6th place for all-time home runs, and also won 12 straight Golden Glove awards. The best all-rounded baseball player for elite teams like New York Mets, New York, and San Francisco Giants. Following up, Ken Griffey Jr. If there's an MLB player who has played to define a whole generation of baseball fans and players alike, it's Ken Griffey Jr. No list is valid without mentioning his triumphs on the field, because it's not every day that a junior reaches majors at a mere age of 19. Baseball fans could never get over the sweet swings of Ken Jr. and his backward baseball cap swag. Despite being the prodigal son of a big leaguer, Griffey Jr. was never about making a name over his father's career. He was pure talent, and millennials can agree with that the most because he was an icon in the 1990s. The groovy baseballer topped the 140-game mark twice and managed to rack in 630 home runs, 524 doubles, and 1,836 RBI in his 22-year career. There was no denying that he ruled baseball in the first half of his career, with 13 All-Star in his pocket and winning a Gold Glove in 10 straight seasons. If it weren't for injuries, he could have stayed longer on the field and beat many legendary players off this list. Popularly known as The Kid, Ken's power and gameplay changed baseball forever. Moving on to Ty Cobb. Every baseball player on the list is GOAT, but Ty Cobb is special. He's one of those players whom people never fail to mention when talking about baseball records. No one has ever come close to the hitting power and stats that Cobb enjoys. It's almost bonkers to think about his .944 OPS, 151 WAR, and 1,944 RBIs and .366 average. There wasn't a kind of ball invented that he couldn't hit, and pitchers were always dreading throwing to him because it either ended up with a pitch or walks. Playing for the Philadelphia Athletics and Detroit Tigers, Ty was named one of the best players in the league during the dead ball era. Now coming to his never-ending records, he's only a few shy of Babe Ruth, which only goes on to tell the extent of his success in the sport. Ty is the youngest player in MLB history to score 2,000 runs and record a whopping 4,000 hits. But Cobb didn't stop there. He grabbed the Triple Crown, an MVP, and an inaugural inaugural member's position in the Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb's batting average reigns supreme, even the best in history. But what makes people remember him 100 years after he played his final is his temperament, aggression, and passion for the game. He hit the ball like a fully charged Kryptonian. Now for Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron, or Hammer, is called one of the greatest power hitters of all time. He comes in line with the likes of Ted Williams, Ruth, and others, and is considered by many one of the most decorated MLB players. So, what made him tick? Many would say it was Hank's power that made him a standout for 23 seasons in Major League Baseball. But the three-time Gold Glove slugger was more than that. His technique, talent, and consistency were next to none. He broke Babe Ruth's home run record and plastered the board with his all-time best RBI. He made 2,297 runs, 1,477 extra base hits, and 6,856 total bases. Aaron was like the Hulk on the field, but he also held records off the field. He has the record for most All-Star appearances, climbing up to 25, is a two-time NL batting champion, and is a four-time NL home run leader. Hank Aaron graced teams like Atlanta Braves, Indianapolis Clowns, and Milwaukee Brewers with his talent. Next up, Barry Bonds. Playing 22 seasons in Major League Baseball as a magnificent left fielder, Barry Bonds left a legacy that every upcoming San Francisco Giants player would have a hard time living up to. Bonds had swanky energy on the field. He was always in top-notch condition and had exceptional hitting skills. Barry was such a sweet hitter that people named him the King of Home Runs, and his stats defend his title quite admirably. Barry Bonds broke the great Hank Aaron's record by belting 73 home runs in 2001, but that was just the beginning. He yielded 120 intentional and 232 walks in 2004, and in the coming season, he smacked 73 dingers. That's the reason why he's the all-time leader in homers, holds 7 MVP awards, and has 8 Gold Gloves. The guy even holds an exclusive membership for the 500 steal and 500 homer clubs. But Barry didn't want to stop there. He didn't think one time was enough to win NL MVP, so he went for 7. His career's only dark spot is that he wasn't eligible for the Hall of Fame. Coming up next, Ted Williams. The Boston Red Sox legend, Ted Williams, is like a role model for younger baseball players looking to make it big in the game. Called one of the greatest contact hitters of all time by experts, Williams played professional baseball for 21 years with a batting average of .344 as an outfielder. Ted Williams was the last player to hit 400 in MLB, and he's only one position behind Ruth when it comes to hitting. The special thing about Ted is that when he could have gained the chance to ride to the absolute top, he left baseball for 3 years to give his service to the Navy and the Marine Corps. He missed almost all of the 1952-53 season because of the Korean War, but he still managed to have a batting average as good as Babe Ruth. He was a 6-time batting champion and owned 2 Triple Crowns, an honor not offered to many MLB players. But sometimes stats aren't the only thing keeping you in the ranking. Williams was responsible for revolutionizing the approach to hitting and preached modern-day technique in those times about how hitters can do more damage, which parts of the strike zone to focus on, and how to swing with a slight uppercut. Last but not least, Babe Ruth. If Madonna is the queen of pop, Babe Ruth can be considered the unprecedented king of baseball. Ruth is perhaps the most influential player in the sport, and he's almost everyone's introduction to America's favorite game. It's his records that players today try to beat. Ruth was listed as one of the first 5 inductees into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and he had this charisma around him that made people love him more than just a player. He won World Series champions 7 times, 3 of which he celebrated with the Red Sox, and the later 4 were won for the Yankees. Interestingly, Babe Ruth started out as an excellent pitcher, but he thought, why not try hitting? Because whatever Ruth touched at that time turned to gold. He became one of the best hitters of all time, leading the American League in home runs 12 times, 714 home runs, and a .690 slugging percentage. Babe Ruth was at the height of popularity both in and out of the field, receiving the honor of being named the MLB All-Century Team and MLB All-Time Team. That's a wrap for this video. Did your favorite baseball player make the list? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.